All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. God bless y'all. I'm Jarvis Kingston, and I hope y'all doing all right in these times that we're in. Just finishing up the month of January, so hopefully February will be a great month for all of us, and that this year, 2022, is good for us personally, and that we get closer to God and our relationship with the Most High is better, and that our life also gets better. We achieve all our goals and improve in all areas of our lives, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, the whole nine. We have to mature and grow in these times that we're in and roll with the punches, you know what I'm saying? So in today's message, I want to discuss about control of parents. You know, most people in the world don't really grow up in stable households. Certain people grow up in different types of environments, and not everyone comes from that two-parent household. Not everybody comes from that. Some people are foster children. Some people were raised by their grandparents or their uncles or cousins or what have you. So everyone's childhood is different. But in certain cases, you do have certain people that do come from a two-parent household or a single-parent household. And at times, they might have some conflict or some clash with their parents because they might grow up to some control of parents or manipulative parents or abusive parents or, just overprotective, overbearing parents. Sometimes those type of things happen for certain people, and people are just dealt with the cards they're dealt with. We're just put into this world. We're born in the environments that we're born in, and we have to experience the things we have to experience the things that we have to, even though we don't agree with it or like it. In most cases, generational curses are passed down through control of parents. Generational cycles are passed down through parents who tend to be probably hard-headed or abusive or alcoholics or violent, just different types of abuse, different types of manipulation, have a hard time letting a child really be what they want to be, doing everything for a child, controlling the child. Now, there's so much things that factors into that whole dynamic with the parents and the children relationship. And a lot of cases, certain parents are too strict. So when you are a strict parent, you create sneaky kids. But if you're too loose, you're too cool with your kids, then you create rebellious, bad kids, So there's a balance between correcting your child, being hard on your child, but also loving your child, supporting them as well. A lot of cases, most people don't come from supportive parents. Most people don't come from supportive backgrounds. That's why so much people have a chip on their shoulder. So much people have something to prove. So much people are just outright rebellious because they never had a true outlet to be free. They were never raised in an environment where they could really be themselves. A lot of children grow up having to fake it to make it just to impress their parents or to keep their faces good, their family, what have you. So it's not only parents that could be controlling. Sometimes you could have a controlling family member. You could have a controlling friend. You could have a controlling spouse or what have you. People that are controlling and manipulative are everywhere. And it's on us to not give power to things, to not give people strength, and to always avoid bad vibes and negative energy, because you have to protect your energy at all times. You have to guard your spirit at all times, But in this life that we live, we could only control so much sometimes, Whatever environments you're born in or placed in or whatever type of people you grew up around, you can't really control that until you get older and you get your life better in order and you decide to make moves the way you want to and you live where you want to live, you hang out who you want to hang out with, and you work where you want to work, But when you're in these forced situations or in these situations you just don't really have control over, it gives you a lot of anxiety and a lot of pain and a lot of just mixed emotions, But control of parents really create rebellious children, So what I want to do is read a few scriptures about, parenting and parenthood and things of that nature, and just go from there. The book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 3. Be on your guard. If your brother sins, rebuke him, and if he repents, forgive him. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34 through 19. Do not think that I came to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I came to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be the members of his household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life will lose it, and he who has lost his life for my sake will find it. So there Jesus was talking about how your own enemies could be your own family sometimes, That's why when Jesus went about doing the will of God and doing the works, they said, hey, Jesus, your mother and your sister's here. But Jesus said, whoever does the will of my Father is my family. So you have a spiritual family, and then you have your carnal physical family. Our carnal physical family is just through bloodline and through our DNA genetics, but our spiritual family is through faith, relationship with the Most High, salvation, grace, mercy, being a part of the kingdom of heaven. That's your spiritual family. So a lot of people out there struggle with their physical families and having resentment and fallouts and mother-daughter rivalry, or just having issues with communication with their parents, because sometimes parents bring a lot of pain to their child, and sometimes parents don't realize it. So it's important for us that we do forgive and that we do not be resentful, okay? We can only control so much in this life, and you don't want to walk around with a bad conscience and holding grudges due to your childhood or due to the things you experienced throughout your environment, okay? If you grew up in a toxic environment, don't let that define you, okay? Your purpose and your future is brighter than your past. So just want to encourage y'all out there when it comes to that. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for a welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 24. For this reason a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 36 through 40. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And he said to him that you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and foremost commandment. Second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend on the whole law and the prophets. The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 35. For I came to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for her. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. That's a very important scripture, because sometimes parents provoke their children. Sometimes parents purposely, nitpick their child and be overcritical and whatnot on them. And then it just makes the child rebellious and angry. And it just causes a lot of strife and division in the household. So if you grew up from a good family, a strong, solid, loyal family, then God bless you, more power to you. But for most cases, a lot of people don't come from that stable household. A lot of people don't come from a family-oriented background. So many people have different habits or, problems or generational curses due to the upbringings they are raised in. So let's go from there. The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord your God gives you. The book of Psalm, chapter 27, verse 10. For my father and my mother have forsaken me, but the Lord will take me up. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 14. Here for this third time I am ready to come to you, and I will not be a burden to you. For I do not seek what is yours, but you. For children are not responsible to save up their parents, but parents are for their children. The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 29. He who troubles his own house will inherit wind, and the foolish will be the servant to the wise-hearted. The book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 31. He whose ears listen to life-giving reproof will dwell among the wise. So as you can see, it just talks about, how a child should be towards their parents, how a parent should be towards their children, A lot of children go through so much different situations and trauma and pain and different types of activities throughout their childhood. So it makes it hard for a child to obey their parents and whatnot, even though that is a commandment to obey your parents. But a lot of cases, these children, they grow up in these real negative environments. So that puts the child in a limb at such an early age and puts a lot of pressure and anxiety on the child, you know. But all in all, if you grew up from a good, stable household with good parents, then God bless you, and appreciate that and be grateful for that, because a lot of people don't have that. Now, if you're a person who didn't come from a supportive household or background, or you were kind of the black sheep of the family, or kind of outcasted, you were kind of misunderstood or mocked and laughed at or ridiculed, then I pray for your sanity. I pray to God that you stay strong in your life and that you don't have that resentment, bad conscience. I pray that you become better than what your parents taught you. I pray that you don't recycle generational curses, or you recycle those bad generational habits that were influenced upon you throughout your childhood and upbringing, you know. So if you are a current parent right now, you just have a child, or you're a step parent, or you're, co-parenting, whatever your situation is with your children, I pray that you don't become a controlling parent. I pray that you love your child, you embrace that child, you discipline that child, and you teach that child hard lessons, and you teach that child the real world, and that you don't traumatize your child, okay? Do not pass on your pain to your child. Do not pass on that hurt and those curses to your child, okay? Bless your child, pray for that child, support that child, tell the child the truth. Don't hide no secrets from that child. Don't be manipulative over the child. Don't live your life through that child. That child is his or her own life, okay? All right? So you be the best parent that you could possibly be for God, all right? So I pray to God that whoever listens to this message, I pray that you get baptized and you start your life over for the Lord. I pray that things get better for you. I pray that if you are a parent, I pray that you become the greatest parent that you could be, not just spoiling a child or financially or material things, but just emotionally, spiritually, mentally, verbally, that you become a great parent for that child, all right? These children out here really need love, okay? There's a lot of unloved children walking around. There's a lot of casted away children walking around, A lot of these teenagers are very misunderstood, man. They're not bad. They just come from unstable environments, okay? So let's really look out for these children. Let's look out for these teenagers, okay? Let's not talk down on them and be all critical and judgmental. Let's pull them to the side and talk to them, not talk at them, all right? So much love to y'all. Peace.